Hey, LinkedIn. I rant to my team a lot about wrong person, and in B2B, to me, it's really probably, if it's not the number one snag in a deal in B2B, when you're selling B2B, when you're working on a B2B sale, it's up there. I mean, it's up there. It's one of the top reasons that a deal stalls or gets snagged. It's just simply wrong person, and that's not a throwing shade or being negative to people who are not the final decision maker or the right person or whatever. But if you want to expedite things, obviously having the right person who has the authority and power to sort of, make a decision and say, yeah, this is what we want to do, that's super important. And you can end up spending a huge amount of time on people who are not the right person. And if you're not good at identifying that, you're going to be pursuing people and having back and forth and having meetings and having calls. With a lot of these folks, different people that maybe have an influence or maybe are part of the cycle or whatever, or they're going to be using the product or whatever it is that you're selling. But ultimately, it can make the runway very long, and so sometimes you hear people say, "Well, we have a long runway." It's like, yeah, well, part of that in B2B is because you're dealing with multiple terminals that maybe are not the right people, and I suppose you could argue, well, you need to go to these people. Yeah, yes and no. Sometimes, I mean, it really depends, but it's interesting because we were just talking about here because I have a few VP sales here, and we were noting that there were 3 instances where those VP sales were being sold. People were reaching out to sell us, and actually one was going to our sales admin, and another one was going to our VP sales of Content One, and another one was going to our VP sales of Richter. And the way our organization operates is they wouldn't be the right people for this specific thing, and what it ends up being is it's like busy work. It's like I could just imagine the rep on the other side is following up with them, thinking, "Oh, you got a deal, and where's it at?" Maybe whoever they're talking to, they're dialoguing about it internally, thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm following up, and here's where we're at." But really, nothing's happening on those cycles. Literally, nothing's happening, and really, for the most part, sometimes I don't even know about things. If there could be something somebody's trying to sell a VP sales, I don't even hear about it. I've had it with other people in the organization that people reaching out to them, and I don't even hear about it. So it's really interesting because it depends on the company and the company size, but even in some of the largest companies, sometimes there's only a handful of key people that you need or want to go to. It depends, of course, but you want to get good at sort of identifying who are those right people and how do you get to them, and also creating a candid culture about even the sales cycle itself, and just having a way of communicating that to whoever. If you happen to be with the person who does not have the final say, does not have the final authority, you have to be able to sort of be candid and bring that to the table and go, like, if we are looking at doing this, is who are the other stakeholders, who's involved in this, who ultimately calls the shots, or whoever it is. But find a way to say that and get that information, and often if you do it right, actually people will just tell you, hey, it's not me, I'm not the right person, I'm not the final person. And that's great, that's really commendable when people do that, but people don't always do that. And it's very important, because if you have a great product and service that you're trying to sell, and it's going to help them, and it's going to be urgent, or it is urgent, and it's really key, it's really important that you get to that right person that helps solve their specific problem, and that you can and that person that has the authority, power, P&L, whatever you want to call it, to pull the trigger on it. Because otherwise, you're inflating the sales cycle runway. Like you're adding so much time to the sales cycle that really probably could have been circumvented or sidestepped. And the truth is, I think a lot of people who are not the right person, not the authority, not the final say, the truth is, in many cases, it stalls out because they don't want to go and have to jump through the hoops internally and talk to people and get people to buy in and essentially do the sale for you, and go ask for money, and nobody likes doing that. And so sometimes people procrastinate and go slower or drag it out, and I'm getting to them, or I'm busy. But really, it's like ultimately they have to go and ask for money from someone. And people generally don't like doing that. So you can make their life a lot easier by being really professional and handling it the right way, and helping get to that right person. Obviously without alienating people. But anyway, it's just interesting because we had this scenario where there was multiple people that were reaching out to our own wrong people here, and we were looking at it and just kind of going, wow, this is amazing. And I had my people tell them that they're the wrong person, but it's just it's really key, and you have to be able to identify who the right person is. And if you do that and you do it well, if you identify the right person, you do that well, and you figure out the best ways to get to the right person, you're gonna make a lot more progress on your sales cycles, certainly in B2B. That's really that's a top objective when you're selling B2B. So anyway, something to think about. Love to hear your comments below. Okay, thanks.